Hey Gear Seekers, I'm Nick. We did a poll a couple of weeks ago asking you guys what you want to see more of in terms of motherboards, and the result was B650, even though the sales for Ryzen 7000 have been quite low. Anyways, this is a board you guys have requested because you wanted to see more MATX, so that's what we're doing today. We're checking out the Gigabyte B650M Aorus Elite AX. Obviously, it's an MATX board for Ryzen 7000. So let's do our thing and take a bit of a closer look. But please remember, ladies and gents, these motherboard videos are not reviews. They're just overviews so we can take a bit of a look at everything on the board and what physically comes in the box with a brand new board. Let's dive in. Oh, that was stabbing me in the hand. Here it is, ladies and gents, the Gigabyte B650M Aorus Elite AX. Let's get the motherboard out of the way so we can take a bit, oh, what was that? Anyway, we've got the Wi-Fi antenna for the built-in Wi-Fi 6 and the Bluetooth. As well as that, we've got some SATA or SATA cables for your 2.5-inch SSDs or your spinning RAS drives. Then we've got this little set of screws and standoffs. Well, one screw and one standoff for the M.2 slots. Not quite sure why this is included, but you'll see why in a minute. And lastly, this tiny bit of documentation showing us Gigabyte's entire B650 lineup. But let's get the B650M unsheathed so we can take a bit of a closer look at everything on the board. Strap yourself in, let's do it. First up, we've got front panel audio header, we've got a serial port header, we've got a TPM header, we've got a PWM fan header, a 4-pin 12-volt RGB header, a 3-pin 5-volt addressable RGB header, 2 USB 2.0 headers for things like liquid coolers and RGB controllers and all that jazz. There is a Thunderbolt header for an add-in card if you want to do that, 2 PWM fan headers, and the front panel header for all your lights and all your switches to let you know your system is up and running and to turn it on. There's also a right-angled USB 3.2 header, 4 SATA or SATA ports for your 2.5-inch SSDs or your spinning RAS drives, a USB Type-C front panel header, a postcode LED array, a reset switch, another PWM fan header. There's also the 24-pin power connector to send juice to your brand new motherboard, as well as some more RGB headers, so some more 12-volt and 5-volt RGB headers. There's also 2 more PWM fan headers for your liquid coolers and your CPU fan, and on the top left, there's a single 8-pin EPS power connector up there. In terms of PCIe slots, we've got a single PCIe Gen 4x16 slot and a single PCIe Gen 4x4 slot that is by 16 size down the bottom of the board. For the VRM layout, this features a twin 12+2+1 phase digital VRM design with 60 amp power stages. And as you can see, with most of these new boards, the cooling for the VRM layout, well, the heat sinks at least, are way over engineered. There's also some heat pipes connecting them, and the whole I/O cover is cooling for the VRM. Now, this features AMD's brand new AM5 socket, which supports Ryzen 7000 CPUs, and as you can see, there is some AM4 cooler compatibility here as well. Not all. Let's open the AM5 socket so you can take a bit of a closer look at what's actually in there. This is obviously AMD's brand new AM5 socket, but it's actually called LGA 1718 because there's 1,718 contact pins inside the socket for this board. But let's flip the board over so we can take a bit of a look at what's going on back there. As you can see, there's not a lot going on. However, you can see that permanently attached back plate for cooler mounting. Now, what this does is any AM4 cooler that doesn't come with a back plate should work with AM5 motherboards, and because this backplate cannot be removed. Now, for RAM, we've got a total of 4 DDR5 RAM modules with support up to 128 gigs in total at 66 mega transfers overclocked. Let's get the heat sinks off so we can take a bit of a closer look at the storage layout of this board. Now, the left PCIe slot is a PCIe Gen 5x4 M.2 slot. You can usually tell by the square key on the slot, and then the other one, which is the one towards the bottom, is a PCIe Gen 4x4 M.2 slot, which has a round key. And these slots have a retention system for the drive, so basically you don't need to use screws anymore. It's got these little plastic clips that make life a little bit easier. For rear I/O, you've got a Q flash button, the antenna connectors for the built-in Wi-Fi, there's USB Type A ports, there's DisplayPort because all of these new AMD CPUs have integrated graphics, there's HDMI, there's a bunch of USB 3.2 ports, USB Type-C, 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, and I'm going to say it, that audio interface that I've been banging on about for like 2 months now. Where's the rest of it? It doesn't matter. And lastly, the integrated I/O shield. Alright ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed my hand getting stabbed by a motherboard. Alright ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the overview of this brand new board from Gigabyte, the B650M Aorus Elite AX. Now, in terms of feature set, this one's actually looking like the point of entry for MATX and Ryzen 7000. We are seeing a lot of the same things that we've seen with a lot of these new Ryzen 7000 boards from Gigabyte, especially, again, I'm gonna say this, that stupid top clip, it's so bad that they should just either not do it, or you can just Dremel that off if you really don't like it. But it does interfere with the backplate on some GPUs, which is just so odd. It's almost like they didn't even test it. And I'm gonna keep banging on about this forever because it's just really annoying. The other thing is, check out this audio interface. This one's got optical, mic, and line out. Where's the rest of it? Yep, I'm gonna keep going on about it because I think it's important that some of these boards have the other inputs. However, we do have optical, which is nice for people who want to use this for like an HTPC or something where they've got an audio receiver or something that uses optical, or like if you're using the Astro A50s, they've got optical in, and some SteelSeries headsets have the same thing for their wireless headsets. So yeah, good. As mentioned, this is kind of the point of entry, and to be honest, it's not a super interesting board, but with boards like this from Gigabyte, you can bet that these are gonna be fairly rock solid and they're gonna do exactly what you need them to do. Because, ladies and gents, if you're interested in the Gigabyte B650M Aorus Elite AX, they're going for around 199 US dollars or around 369 Aussie dollars at the time of filming this video. And I know that I keep banging on about these prices, but they are really expensive. However, in the last couple days, we've seen significant price drops with Ryzen 7000 CPUs, which is always good because competition is good. The only reason why 13th gen is outselling Ryzen 7000 is because of the price and performance proposition. Now, the CPUs are getting cheaper, the motherboards just need to get cheaper now to make it a lot more accessible for people who are looking for more of a value board. Because if I'm being honest, $369 for an MATX board that is a budget-focused chipset is way too much. Yes, I'm talking about Australian dollars, even 199 US dollars. It's too much money. This thing should be like maybe 129 US dollars or maybe 219 Australian dollars like we saw with B550. Not almost 400 Australian dollars for an MATX board. It just doesn't make sense. And I will keep on complaining about this because the more I talk about this, the more attention we bring to it, and the more that these companies are going to do something about it. Yes, I'm complaining about prices a lot lately because this stuff is just so inaccessible for people who are looking to get into either PC gaming or content creation at a decent price point. It's kind of ridiculous. There are a lot of factors at play here, but the main factor is greed. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, You know what to do, hit the like button. If you like us, subscribe as well. And if you like the music, I make all the music. It's available by clicking the join button down below. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I'm your still annoyed boy Nick at prices with Gear Seekers. What? You peak. We seek, and please make these accessible for people. I know that they can be cheap. There's no reason for this stuff to be as expensive as it is. It really doesn't need to be. Please fix it. Lastly, shout out to all these channels out there who are jacking our motherboard content and making their own fake content. We are going to go on a copyright strike blitz and take down so many channels for stealing our videos. If you're watching this, don't do it. Claire is the master of finding these channels and getting them taken down. It's not fair because we work so hard on our content, and it's not fair for you to come and steal our hard work. That is not okay.